what do I need to do my dream? And I'm like, do you really want to know? You need to time manage your day. You need to work a bunch of hours. You need to work on the weekend. You need to say no to the softball game. Like, I love to pragmatically break down, and Todd is on there. He's on Zoom. He's amazing in every way. He's a total pro. But one of my besties, because he came from an executive background, his work ethic is crazy. And the understanding of morning till night, what you're doing to get that audition, please, that's what I want to get to. I want to get to what it is from Monday to Sunday.
I just got into town.
Yeah.
I got up at 4:30 this morning and did 2 voiceover auditions before I came here. I still hustle.
And
I
I
do
do
have-
it tomorrow.
And I do it, and I'll be up tonight doing it.
Yes.
So you never, it's sort of like going to the gym. You don't go and get in shape and go, I'm in shape, I'll stay in shape forever. You have to go to the gym to stay in shape. So yes, I'm blessed. Sometimes a job is just given to me if a producer knows me, like the American Dad thing, but you're always hustling. You can never not be hustling. You're a hustler. I can tell you're a hustler. You can't just rest on your laurels. So the day in the life is going to be different for each person based on the connections you have, drive you have, the funding, resources, financial to take classes and get new headshots and all this stuff. So it's success is a pathless place.
Yeah.
There is no one path.
Doing casting director workshops, sitting like you
Yeah.
are. I mean, Lau is amazing in terms of the people that she brings in. Is it okay if I tell about your agent?
Of course, yes.
Okay, I met her, I really liked her. I had only met her once. She happened.
Through Waleed. Everyone knows Waleed here, right?
Yeah.
Waleed, that's how we met. I brought Showcase. We
And so
co-produced the
I-
LA Showcase.
Yeah, I was a guest and I don't know why. I just felt I should speak to her. And I spoke to her and she happened to mention that she was looking for an agent. I said, I know a great agent in New York. You know, we're all aware of how the industry during the strikes really caused a lot of contraction. And of course, in LA, you know, a lot of production went to other places. I mean, there's 2 series, by the way, that I read that are going to be shooting in Boston next year. 2 TV series, besides Mark Wallenberg, Donnie Wahlberg has a series called Boston something. And Boston Blue. And they just, all the series regulars were just cast. So I think, you know, networking is definitely important. So to backtrack, I liked her so much. I said, let me call this agent that I know in New York, or call him and use my name. And she got an agent. But you do need to be creating your own content. That's really important. And if you can't create your own content, then maybe you have ideas and could work with people. Because I gave you examples of actors that were not getting a lot of traction. And mercifully, they were good writers and were able to create content that got so many followers, they were able to get on HBO. Because people are looking for content.
Yeah, I remember when I started I started a different time in the 80s, and when we started, there was as Ricky said, you made your bones as an actor in New York, and then you kind of cashed in LA. If you were an LA actor, you were a real actor. That was the myth when you were a kid. It was like, if you started in New York, you were good. If you started in LA, you were just pretty. And so much of that has changed, but there was someone once said that there was, Marilyn Monroe famously sat in the corner drugstore and was discovered. And I say, great, if you're driving along and you get in a car accident with the producer of the Donnie Wahlberg show, they could go, I want you to be, these things, the serendipitous things that happen are great. And I think we're all open to those, but you can't plan those.
Yeah.
What you can plan is to work hard. What you can plan is to be really good. And I think the idea of going to work for free, which is what you have to do at a film school, and we are in Boston, but you're also a train right away from New York. So you should be, and now it's all online. The NYU, Columbia, all these places, they all want free people to go work in their films. It's a pain in the ass. If you're over 40, what you probably have is the ability to go down there and go, this is gonna cost me $400 to go stay with my friend, but I'll do the movie, I'll get tape, and I'll come back.
Yeah.
That's your investment.
It's $400 to
Yeah.
get tape.
Right, but you're
Yeah.
40, you're
Absolutely
50,
right.
you're 60, you can afford it. Now, a
Right.
22-year-old who's working at, I can't go, I can't do that. Well, you can. So that's like one of the few advantages you have. I have a car, fuck it, I don't need a train ride.
Right.
I'll save the money there and then get $270 worth of tickets overnight by parking my car in New York. But I would say the other thing is,
3 hours, 45 minutes.
yeah, that's a lot of speeding tickets. And I remember someone said to me once that in this regard of like waiting for to be struck by lightning, there was the English reformist Oliver Cromwell who toppled and deposed Charles I and chopped his head off. He once said this thing, which I always thought was a great acting note, which is some people say strike when the iron is hot, but I say make the iron hot by striking. And you can write your own resumes, you can shove them under doors, you can, but I mean, back in the day, you
Yes.
still can.
Not today.
You can do the modern day equivalent of that, of sending your tape and just know no one's gonna look at this, no one's gonna, and then one person does. And that's the hustle. You can't be brokenhearted if you don't develop the armor of rejection. How do I survive the no's? You're probably not gonna do well. You have to, it's part of what we learn. You have to learn to say, this is who I am, this is my body, this is what I look like. So why play against it? The advantage of being 50, 60, 70 years old and entering the business is your scars and your pain and your armadillo. And if you try to be something else other than who you are, you probably won't do well. You're going to start out doing character work and lean into it. Lean into all those things you are and don't try to be anything else.
That's awesome.
And you have to be, if anything, when we're older, we learn to be fearless. And if you
Yeah.
are fearful, you're in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sam Beckett who said, he said, ever tried, ever failed? So what? Try again, fail better, which was it's a great leader. Fail better, because what we bring to the table is all of the tree climbing arborist pain of what we do as human beings to be human beings. So why give it up? Lean into it.
I would say, I'll piggyback on that, a Bill Gates quote, I think it's Bill Gates said, if you want to up your success rate, up your failure rate. So, I want to just piggyback on something he said, and Peter and I have had these discussions, we've had these lovely actor talks when we're together, and, I remember when I was a younger actor and people said, how do you deal with all that rejection? All that rejection is really Peter uses well. And I said, it's really funny. I never think of it as rejection. I never think of that. I don't feel personal reject, like I don't like you, you're ugly, or you're not a good person. I simply didn't get the job. But you know what I did get? I got mileage. There is immeasurable yardage on the playing field by having met that casting director and done a great job. Hey, I didn't look like the woman cast as my sister, so they didn't go with me. But they may remember me for the next time. I'm Johnny Appleseed. I'm put a seed there and a seed there and a seed there. So never think of it as rejection. Think of it as sometimes as mileage that is dollars and cents, and sometimes it's shekels, and I don't know what it is, but you just keep throwing seeds to the wind. And some of them will take root. Something my good friend Tom Antonellis taught me when I first had to send him a check. He said, make it out to Thick Skin Creations. Is that still is Thick Skin Productions? What is it? Did I have the name right?
You nailed it.
Thick Skin. And I said, wow. And I said, that's incredible. So having thick skin and being an armadillo with an outer shell and it bounces off me and sticks to you. I mean, it does take that fortitude. It does take that internal fire and belief in yourself. So stay vulnerable on the inside, stay non-porous on the outside.
Yeah. And in that way, I think what you're trying to do, obviously we all want the gig, but we're talking a little less than what Law started about. Law wants to know, like, what do you do when you're not auditioning? What is the game to get those auditions? And what we're talking about is when you do get those auditions and in that room and they're different animals. But in order to, you don't want to do all that work to get that audition, to get in the room and then screw it up, right? By either not being prepared or not fully thinking it out or something, to think of the thing three-dimensionally as an actor. It's our job. It's all we have to do. So when someone says, that was great, but she's actually, even though it says on the page she's crying, she's actually, she's saying it with laughter to cover her pain. Can you do that adjustment? And if you haven't thought of that or worked in that, you're dead. You know what I mean? So our work is what we do at home or on the train ride when we prep, like, what can I do that's going to be the most three-dimensional to this? And you're really looking to make, as Ricky said, a fan of the caster. That caster to go, nah, not this person, not this job. But when that construction worker, mafia guy comes up, wow, she killed it. Let's bring her in for that. And that's where the rubber hits the road in this business, is making fans of people because your work was good. And if you, Ricky and I talk about this, but an audition comes along, I don't care if it's student film, a commercial, the way I get through is I think of the audition as music and I compose music. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to get a lead in the room or on camera or whatever, but I have a take on it. And that's my music. So when I execute, when I'm walking out of that room, all I'm thinking is, did I perform the music I composed? And I know, oh, fuck, I missed that. There was a laugh, or, oh, I could have, no, I dropped that. That's when I beat myself up, but that's on me. As opposed to, did I get the job or not? If they like it, I'll get the gig. That's where my metric is. Did I do the music I composed? Now, they may go, no, that was totally wrong. It was too over the top. Let's do this. And that's just the guessing game of being an actor, right? But really, it's your job to compose the music. And that music is reflective of your story, your pain, your composition. And just go fucking kill it. It sounds easy, but I mean, that's the trick of our business,
I'm gonna add to that. I think actors should know 3 to 6 roles that they absolutely could nail if they're gonna go in for those roles. I joke with the client who, I don't know why, that every time there's a fire chief, and there are several shows that have fire in it, he books them. So
Yeah.
I think and I'm interested as actors that you absolutely have those roles down. I think that's very, very helpful.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, as character guys, we want to think like, oh, I can play a fire chief who's also a rabbi, or whatever. Because I always. You're serious. Come in on CBS this fall. Yeah. Kosher cop.
Very big in Brooklyn.
Kosher cop, right.
That's
Yeah, bagel. I have a lot of sort of, fortune cookie wisdom, and one is argue for your limitations and they're yours.
It's great.
If I decide I'm not a fire chief, then I'm certainly not. I would rather have them tell me I'm not a fire chief. There have been so many times I thought, should I turn this audition down? I just don't see me doing this. When I was first got to LA, there was a show called Living Single, Queen. And one episode was about a fictitious princess from a fictitious African country was coming to America, and she had a bodyguard, and there was a call for her bodyguard. And at the time, I used to be 5'9", I think I'm 5'8", and I was at that time beamier than I am now, and I'm being nice. I lost some weight, and I go to this lobby, and everyone in that lobby are 6'4" with a flat top and no neck. They're all like, and I call my agent on my flip phone, and I said, I'm not. You made a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. It's a bodyguard, and these guys are like military-looking guys. He said, well, you got the slot. I can't send somebody else. Just go in and do something. And I decided, to go completely against type and change the music. And I went to the bathroom and redid the whole thing and decided to do my version of a Pesci and just kind of like this loudmouth New Yorkie kind of guy. And I did get the job. I almost left. I came that close to getting in my car and, you know, weeping. And then joining a gym or something. So, you know, as character actors, I like the thought of being played with what are the roles you would get. And I like also unplaying myself and saying, I can do anything that I can breathe life into.
Mm.
I don't want to feel limited. I mean, there are some things if they need someone who is, you know, a pro basketball player, you know, I'm not probably going to get that role. But I just want to tell them
You're too beamy.
how to be me. I'd rather have them say, you know, your Russian accent isn't quite up to speed, but it's pretty, you know, I mean, just go for it, you know.
Yeah, there was this, when I, in the, I went into an audition, when I was casting, when I was working as an assistant, so I was the guy who would come in and go, hey, come on the rim, what's your name? What's your name?
Tom.
Everybody, this is Tom, everybody, and I'd read with Tom, and I was that, you know, 18-year-old kid doing that. And the number of times you go in there and you're reading and then Law comes in and Law just slays it. And you know that she just killed it, right? She leaves it and everyone, you know, there's a usual table full of machas and you just go, they all, and you turn and they're going, yeah, yeah. And so it was good. That was it. And someone will go, she looks like my husband's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And you go, what? 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 It has nothing to do with your performance. And you have to understand, as Ricky said, it's not because no one there goes, fuck her, she has no talent.
Yeah.
And that's not the thought when you're walking out. It's like, did I compose the music? That's it. That's it, because you have to have that. And I tell